All right, let's jump right in. We're doing a deep dive today on how to prep for a kitchen assistant interview.
Yep.
So picture this, okay? You're about to go into that interview, but you're not nervous.
Right.
You're calm, you're confident, you know you're going to impress them.
That's the goal.
That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah.
And to help us get there, we've got some great resources today. A career guide that's just packed with info, a list of some common interview questions, and we'll also be taking a look at how RoleCatcher's AI can give you a serious edge.
It's like having a secret weapon.
Exactly. So before we get into those questions, let's set the stage a bit.
Yeah.
Our career guide paints a really clear picture of what it's actually like to be a kitchen assistant.
Okay.
Fast-paced environment, you're going to be working as part of a team, and having a genuine passion for food and for cleanliness is a must.
Oh, absolutely.
And the cool thing is,
Yeah.
the Bureau of Labor Statistics is predicting a 6% growth in the food service industry between 2019 and 2029.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's a really good sign. So if you're thinking about jumping into this world, now's a great time.
For sure.
So, ready to dive into some interview questions?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's start with one that seems simple, but is actually super important.
Which one?
Tell me about yourself.
Oh, that's a classic.
Right. Seems basic, but it's your chance to make a first impression.
It really is. It's like your elevator pitch.
Exactly. Now, the interview guide suggests focusing on transferable skills. So even if you haven't worked in a professional kitchen before, think about times when you've shown teamwork, organization, or a knack for following instructions. Those are all valuable in a kitchen.
Definitely. And don't forget, the interviewer is also trying to get a sense of your personality. Do you seem enthusiastic? Are you genuinely interested in this kind of work?
Yeah, passion goes a long way. Okay, now let's say they follow that up with, why are you interested in this particular position?
Getting more specific.
Right. What's the best way to handle that one?
Well, this is where doing your research beforehand really pays off.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so mention something specific that stood out to you about the restaurant.
Okay.
Maybe it's a particular dish on their menu that caught your eye, or maybe they're known for using local ingredients, something that shows you've put in the effort to learn about them.
And in the career guide, they talk a lot about showcasing your passion.
Right.
Yeah.
You could talk about a chef you admire or a specific area of the culinary world that you're really drawn to.
So it's about connecting your interests to what they're doing.
Exactly. And you know what else?
Yeah.
This is where RoleCatcher's AI can really come in handy.
Oh, how so?
Well, it analyzes the job description and identifies keywords that resonate with the employer.
Ah, I see.
So it can help you tailor your answer to their specific needs. You're basically speaking their language.
That's super smart. Okay, let's move on to another question that can feel a little tricky.
Okay, hit me.
What are your strengths and weaknesses?
Ooh, yeah, that one.
How do you approach that without feeling like you're bragging or putting yourself down?
Well, the most important thing is to be honest. Nobody's perfect.
Sure.
When they ask about your weaknesses, pick something that you're genuinely working on improving.
Like what?
Like, let's say you sometimes get overly focused on the small details. You could say, I can be a bit of a perfectionist, which is great for ensuring quality, but I'm also learning to prioritize tasks and delegate effectively.
So you're acknowledging it, but you're also framing it positively.
Exactly. And when you talk about your strengths,
Yeah.
choose ones that are directly relevant to the job. Things like being a quick learner, thriving in a fast-paced environment, or having a really strong work ethic.
And the interview guide stresses the importance of giving concrete examples. So don't just say you're a team player. Tell a story about a time when you successfully collaborated with others to achieve a goal.
Oh, that's a good tip. And you know what else could help with this question?
What's that?
RoleCatcher's interview practice. Have you heard about it?
I've heard of it, but
What?
tell me more.
So you can record yourself answering these questions and get feedback on your body language and tone of voice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like having a virtual coach. It helps you make sure you're projecting confidence and sounding genuine.
That's amazing. Okay, let's tackle another classic. Describe a time you faced a challenge at work and how you overcame it.
All right, love this one.
Right. What's the key to nailing this one?
The key is to choose a challenge that demonstrates skills relevant to the job you're interviewing for.
Like what?
So maybe you had to handle a sudden rush of customers or a difficult customer or even a mistake in an order.
Okay. See.
The point is to show them that you can solve problems, you can adapt, and you can stay calm under pressure.
And in the guide, they suggest using the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result.
Oh, yeah, that's a good framework.
Yeah, it helps you lay it all out clearly. You outline the situation, the task you were responsible for, the action you took, and then the positive outcome you achieved.
And don't just focus on the problem itself. Highlight how you thought through the situation and the steps you took to resolve it.
Right. So you're showing them your process, not just the result.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to talk about what you learned from the experience.
Okay, good point. Now, I know there are a lot more questions we could cover,
Oh, there are puns.
but let's move on to one that often throws people off.
Which one's that?
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
The future.
I know, right? It feels so far away. How do you answer that honestly without sounding too rehearsed or like you're just saying what you think they want to hear?
It's all about being genuine and enthusiastic.
Okay.
It's perfectly fine to say you're eager to learn and grow within the company. You can even mention specific skills you'd love to develop or areas of the culinary world that you're interested in exploring more deeply.
So you're showing them that you're ambitious, but you're also open to learning and growing.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, in the career guide, they actually lay out several potential advancement paths for kitchen assistants.
Oh, interesting. Like, wow.
Well, you could mention things like becoming a line cook, a prep cook, or maybe even working your way up to sous chef one day.
But you don't want to make it sound like you're just using this as a stepping stone, right?
Right. The focus should be on your passion for food and your desire to contribute to a thriving kitchen environment.
So you're connecting your long-term goals to the specific opportunity you're interviewing for.
Right on. And this is another spot where RoleCatcher can be super helpful.
Tell me more.
Their AI can actually analyze the career paths of successful professionals in similar roles.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So you get insights into potential growth opportunities, and you can tailor your answer to show them that you're not just thinking about the next few months, but that you're thinking strategically about your future.
That's so cool. Okay, I think we have time for one more big question before we move on.
All right, which one are we going for?
Let's do this one. Why should we hire you?
Okay, time to shine.
I know, right? This is your chance to really sell yourself. And our interview guide suggests that you summarize your key strengths and reiterate why you're a perfect fit for both the role and the company culture.
It's all about making that connection clear for them.
Exactly. But don't just repeat what's on your resume. Think about what makes you uniquely qualified. What sets you apart from other candidates?
Right. Is it your insane attention to detail, your ability to work independently, your always positive attitude? Figure out what your superpower is and let them know.
And again, show them that you've done your research and that you understand what they're looking for.
Don't forget, passion is contagious. Let your love for food and your willingness to learn really shine through.
Okay, now one last thing before we move on. The interview guide emphasizes that you should always come prepared with questions for the interviewer.
Oh, for sure.
This isn't just a formality. It's your chance to show them you're engaged and gather some valuable info.
It shows you've been thinking critically.
Exactly. So have a few thoughtful questions ready. You can ask about their training programs, opportunities for professional development, or even what their favorite dish on the menu is.
Ooh, I like that last one.
Right. It shows you're genuinely interested in their world.
Makes you a human, not just another applicant.
Exactly.
So many great questions.
Right. But getting that interview is just the first step.
It's true. There's a whole world of knowledge and skills that'll help you really thrive in this career.
And that's where our career guide comes in. It's got so many insights.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for example, did you know that there are actually multiple paths for advancement if you're a kitchen assistant?
It's not a dead end, is it?
Not at all. With the right experience and dedication, you could become a line cook, a prep cook, or even a sous chef.
Now that's something to work towards.
Right. And speaking of setting yourself apart, the guide also highlights the importance of getting certified.
Oh, yeah. Certifications can be a big deal.
Things like a food handler or a Serve-Safe certification can really show potential employers that you're serious about food safety and best practices.
It's like a stamp of approval.
Yeah, it's like saying, hey, I know how to keep a kitchen clean and safe. You can trust me.
Exactly.
And the guide actually goes into a lot of detail about the importance of maintaining a clean and organized workspace.
Super important.
Not just for hygiene, but also for efficiency, right?
Absolutely. Imagine like using RoleCatcher's AI to visualize a perfectly organized workstation.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. You could see exactly where each tool and ingredient goes, how to optimize your workflow, how to minimize the risk of cross-contamination.
It's like having a virtual blueprint.
Right. Speaking of efficiency, let's talk about time
Oh,
management.
yeah, that's crucial in a kitchen.
Kitchens are all about speed, about getting things done quickly and correctly, so being able to manage your time is essential.
And the guide has some great advice on that.
Right. Sure.
Things like prioritizing tasks, breaking down large projects into smaller, more manageable steps, and learning to anticipate what needs to be done next.
Stay one step ahead.
Exactly. And you know what?
Right.
You can actually apply those same principles to the interview itself.
Oh, how so?
When you're answering questions, be concise, be organized, don't ramble. It shows the interviewer that you value their time and that you can communicate effectively under pressure.
It's like a mini test run.
Right. You're demonstrating your time management skills in real time.
I like it. Okay, so we've talked about cleanliness, time management.
What about communication?
Oh, that's huge. The career guy really stresses how important clear and effective communication is in a kitchen.
Makes sense. It's a team environment.
Exactly. You need to make sure everyone's on the same page to avoid mistakes and keep things running smoothly.
And the guide suggests practicing active listening, using clear and concise language, and being respectful of your colleagues even when things get stressful.
Those are good life skills in general.
Totally. And speaking of valuable skills, let's talk about culinary techniques.
Oh, yeah, that's the heart of it.
Right. The guide really emphasizes the importance of mastering the essentials.
Knife skills, cooking methods, food prep, plating, it all adds up.
And you can really leverage that knowledge during your interview.
Oh, for sure.
When they ask about your experience, don't just list the places you've worked. Talk about the specific skills you've developed, the dishes you've mastered.
Show them you know your stuff.
Exactly. You can even mention specific techniques that are highlighted in a job description or that align with the restaurant's style of cuisine.
Ah, so you've done your homework.
Right. It shows the interviewer that you're passionate about food and that you're always looking for ways to improve your craft.
Always learning.
Exactly. And speaking of learning and staying ahead of the game, the guide also talks about the importance of keeping up with current culinary trends.
Oh, yeah, the food world is constantly changing.
It is. So read industry publications, go to food festivals, try new recipes at home. There are so many ways to stay inspired.
Stay curious.
Right. And you know what else? You can even mention a recent culinary trend you've been following, or a chef whose work you admire.
I like that. Shows you're engaged.
Yeah, it shows them that you're not just looking for a job, you're passionate about this world.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about skills and knowledge.
But how can our listeners actually use all this information to prepare for their interviews?
That's where RoleCatcher can be a game changer.
Tell me more.
It's not just for prepping for those interview questions. It can actually be a super valuable tool for career development in general.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, they have a feature called Career Compass. It analyzes your skills and experience and then recommends personalized learning paths, courses, certifications, all sorts of things that can help you boost your culinary expertise.
So it's like a roadmap for your career growth.
Exactly. It helps you figure out what skills you need to develop to reach your goals.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, before we wrap up this section, there's one more point from the career guide that I want to highlight.
Okay, what is it?
Passion.
Oh, yeah. That's the key ingredient.
It really is. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
It's what keeps you going through those long hours.
It's what fuels creativity in the kitchen.
Exactly. So during that interview, let your passion shine through. Talk about why you love food, your favorite ingredients, the dishes that inspire you, the chefs you admire. Let that enthusiasm show.
Enthusiasm is contagious.
Yeah.
And it shows them that you're not just looking for any job, you're pursuing a passion.
Exactly. That's so true. And it's that passion that can help you get through those, well, let's be honest, long hours.
Ah, yes, the reality of kitchen life.
Right. The career guide does mention those long hours as a potential downside.
It's definitely something to consider.
Evenings, weekends, holidays, it's not always a 9 to 5 kind of gig.
Nope.
So how do we address that in an interview without scaring them off?
Well, I think it's about framing it positively. You could say something like, I understand that kitchen work often requires a flexible schedule, and I'm fully committed to being a reliable team member, whatever the schedule demands.
So you're not just saying you're willing to work those hours, you're showing them you understand it's part of the job.
Right. And you can even spin it as a strength.
Okay.
Maybe mention how you thrive in a fast-paced environment, or how your past experiences, even if they weren't in kitchens, have prepared you for demanding schedules.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And this is another place where RoleCatcher could be helpful, right?
Absolutely. Imagine using RoleCatcher's AI to research what the typical work schedule is like for similar roles in your area.
Oh, that's smart.
That way, you're going into the interview with realistic expectations.
Yeah, and you can tailor your answers accordingly. Okay, one last thing I want to touch on. The career guide talks about the importance of networking.
Oh, yeah.
It can feel a little intimidating, to be honest.
It can be, but it doesn't have to be about like schmoozing at fancy events or anything. It's more about building genuine connections with people in the industry.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, the guide suggests attending culinary events, joining online communities, even just striking up conversations with people you meet who work in the food world.
Just push yourself out there.
Exactly. Start small. Maybe
Yeah.
follow chefs or restaurants you admire on social media. Engage with their content. Ask thoughtful questions.
Good tips. And I bet RoleCatcher could help with this too.
You bet. Their AI can actually analyze your skills and interests and suggest relevant culinary groups to join, events to attend, even potential mentors in your area.
Wow, it's like a personalized networking guide.
It is. And remember, networking is all about building relationships, not just collecting business cards.
That's a great point. Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've talked about interview questions, career insights, and how RoleCatcher can really give you an edge.
It's all about preparation.
It is. And remember, those sample answers in the interview guide, don't just memorize them. Let your personality shine through.
Yeah, be yourself. The interviewer wants to see who you are, why you are passionate about this, what makes you a great fit for their team.
So to all you aspiring kitchen assistants out there, you've got this. Go rock that interview.
You've got the knowledge, you've got the tools, now go get them.
And don't forget to celebrate every step of your journey.
Even the small victories.
Because at the end of the day, food is about passion, about creativity, and about sharing those delicious moments with others.
Could have said it better myself.
All right, go make some magic happen.